Hey, how's it going, all my beautiful sexy felines? My name is M.C.I.K, and welcome yourselves back to another Warframe video. Welcome back to another Spotlight / B.O.T.W. This is going to be two in the same video. Usually I only just look at a build for the video and show off the abilities, but this was going to be a little more in depth, so I hope you guys do enjoy. Let me know what you guys think about this kind of video down in the comments below. That would be amazing. Thank you guys for that. Other than that, I hope you guys do enjoy. Anyway, let's take a look at the new Warframe that just came out in update 18.5, Inaros. So this was a very long-awaited video. I know it's been a while since the update came out. I'm sorry for just now getting to it. Okay, so Inaros is sort of an Imhotep Egyptian type frame, a mummy if you would. I really like what they did with him, the way he looks. It looks fantastic. So Inaros is going to be a very unique frame. One that I've seen, the most unique frame that I've seen in a really long time, actually. The only other one I can think of would be Limbo. Inaros definitely comes close to that when it comes to weirdness and uniqueness. This frame's going to be all about healing your teammates and healing yourself, along with being a complete tank. Also, he has a good bit of crowd control as well, making him an overall really good frame to run in late game or just mid game. Alright, so let's take a look at his abilities. So for his number 1 ability, Desiccation, in my opinion, this is one of his most important abilities. This is going to be great crowd control and also great for healing your teammates and healing yourself. Basically, how this works is when you cast the ability, it's going to send out a wave and going to paralyze all the enemies, sort of like Excalibur's Radial Blind. It is amazing crowd control, like I said, with one of his best abilities. And if you have very, very high range on this frame, you can take out and pretty much stun a big, huge portion of the battlefield. Along with the enemies being blind and stunned, they are also open to finishers, which is very helpful. And these finishers, if you do them and activate them and actually use a finisher on one of these enemies that have been stunned by Desiccation, then you are granted health back onto your frame, which is very nice, and it's good for other abilities that take a lot of health from Inaros. And also, if you just want to help your teammates and give them some little targets to get some health back, this is a great ability for that. Desiccation is affected by damage, duration, and range. I wouldn't definitely build around damage, seeing how when it scales into late game, it won't be that more effective. It'll be the most effective things will be range and duration you'll need on this ability. His next ability is Devour. So Devour is quite a creepy ability, actually. So, the way this works is you can hold the ability unactivated on an enemy, and it draws the enemy closer, trapping them in quicksand. When it brings them close enough to you, you can start the devouring process. There's two ways of devouring, actually. You can instantly just, of course, hold the ability on an enemy until it gets close enough, and keep holding it until you have devoured his entire soul, which is quite dark. Also, there's a second way of doing it. You can just tap the enemy and just use the ability once on him. He will be stuck in quicksand, and he's basically stuck there until you feel like you want to nibble on his tits a little bit. Basically, he's there for whenever you want some health, and as long as the duration's long enough, he'll stay in the quicksand, so either you or a teammate can actually go over there and devour him, which is quite interesting. So it's helpful for healing you and also your teammates. This will give health while devouring him, so it's an awesome ability. You can basically steal the life force of something and give it to yourself, that's why I said it's quite messed up and very awesome, to be honest. Upon totally depleting the enemy's life and stealing all of his health, it will actually turn into a friendly sand shadow, which is pretty cool. In this case, he'll turn into a sand monster, and he will be the exact same enemy that you devoured, and he will fight for you guys, which is really cool. Fight for the Tenno, and I think eventually he'll die. He's only rank 1, but I think it's a cute little feature, and it works pretty well. So Devour is affected by damage, duration, and range once again. I wouldn't totally go around range once again. I wouldn't use range for this ability, seeing how you'll get plenty of health by just simply waiting long enough. And I definitely would recommend duration to keep him in quicksand for a longer period of time, and definitely range so you can get those targets from farther away, like heavier units like heavy gunners, and take them out of the fight and start devouring and nibbling on their nips. Alright, so for Inaros' third ability is going to be Darude Sandstorm. Oh god, I'm sorry, oh gosh, wrong script, shit, fuck. I'm sorry, his next ability is going to be Sandstorm. So Sandstorm is going to basically turn you into a living tornado, and it's very interesting the way this thing works. There are a couple of cool, unique things about this ability. other than the fact that you pretty much just turn into a tornado and go around the battlefield and flipping shit in the air. One cool thing you can do is if enemies are already trapped in quicksand, let's say you use Devour and trap them in quicksand, if you use the Sandstorm and go over them, flying over them and going over them, it will actually devour them and give you all the health instantly, very, very fast. So it's very nice, and if you don't feel like devouring a couple enemies at a time, you can just, activate Devour on 3 enemies, activate Root Sandstorm, and then you're good, and you can start getting some health back. So the cool thing about all of these abilities is that they do grant you health, which is a very cool, it's a cool way to build a frame, honestly. I like the way they did this. I mean, I know they did this because he's basically all health. There's no shields on this frame, it's all health, and I'll get into that in a second, though, when I get into the builds. But yeah, anyway, Sandstorm is a great ability. This ability is going to be basically affected by efficiency, which is going to be efficiency per second, so you might want to have a good bit of efficiency. Not a whole ton. You don't need a whole ton for this ability, seeing how you're not going to stay in this the entire game, seeing how you go freaking insanely slow. And it also is affected by damage once again, but I wouldn't recommend using damage, seeing how, if you're just simply going in there just to get some health from some Devour-capable enemies, and I wouldn't use damage that much because it's not going to be that helpful for late game. But other than that, Sandstorm is a great ability nonetheless. Last but not least, Scarab Swarm. So his 4th ability is probably one of the best ones in my opinion. It's great for healing your teammates and also great for crowd control. Alright, so basically the way this works, you have to start off by charging this ability to, I'd say, you can go to the first marker is 25%. You can go there if you want to, stop there, because before that you can't do anything with anything below 25%. So charge it to 25%, and from here you can either activate it on an enemy, I'll get into that in a second, or you can keep it as armor. So basically what you do is you give up your health, you charge it with your health, and it converts it into armor, Scarab armor, which is pretty badass. This really makes Inaros a really tanky frame, and especially when you get to 100% Scarab armor. If you want to, you can keep the armor for the entire game, the 100% Scarab armor, which is going to make you an insane tank and just going to absorb tons of damage. Or if you want to, you can disperse the ability onto enemies. Now, what this will do is, if you use it on an enemy, it will affect the enemy with Scarab Swarm, and it'll basically damage him over time, of course, and it's going to heal teammates and yourself over time as well. Now, doing this on one enemy is great, but if you have damage, if the damage for the build is low, I would definitely recommend doing it in huge crowds because this will spread. So if you do it on one enemy, and if one is sort of semi-close, it will spread to that, and so on and so forth, making it a huge cluster rape and just a huge pile of just health, just getting dispersed onto everything and everyone in your squad. So this is a great ability for huge crowds of enemies, and also it keeps them stuck in place so they can't move. So once again, fantastic CC, fantastic crowd control once again. Scarab Swarm is affected, of course, by damage and by duration and by range. Damage, once again, is not going to be that effective in late game. I would stick with duration and range. Definitely a lot of range for this build because this ability is going to need a lot of range to spread the swarm, and if you want tons of, health, a lot of health getting thrown onto you and your teammates, then you want a lot of enemies, giving that energy or giving that health off. So you want to make sure you target enough enemies as possible. So definitely keep your range as high as you can get it, and duration is great too for this ability. So guys, for modding, we went with pretty high duration, nothing really crazy high duration. I pretty much went with just prime continuity. We have somewhat high efficiency. We don't need that much efficiency. I'll tell you guys why in a second. And we went with max range as well. And for strength, I feel like I didn't need to go that high with it. I added Intensify, but that's about it. Anyway, we'll start with the modding stuff. For the aura, we have Energy Siphon for more energy. I think he's a casting frame, so I think that might be really helpful for him to get energy over time. We have Flow for 300 energy, so that way he has a good bit of pool of energy. He's not a casting frame. Well, I guess he technically is, but, he doesn't have a lot of energy like the other casting frames do. Anyway, so we have Vitality and Rage for our health mods. I know this is actually a really good mod to have for Inaros, because seeing how he's only health, he only has 3,960 health. That's plus with the Vitality. It's not max, I know, I'm sorry. But this is great, though, because there's going to be no shields to take off, so any damage, period, that goes to Inaros is going to be converted to energy, which is insane. So he's gonna have plenty of energy. That's why 130 efficiency is going to be plenty. So I went with only Streamline. So Streamline for efficiency and enough pool of energy with flow. So, yep, that's the combo right there, and this combo right here, which is beautiful. And of course, the health is plenty. Anyway, we have Prime Continuity for our duration, 155, and Intensified to even out with the Overextended for the range. And yeah, of course, as for range, I went with Stretch and Overextended, the combo, of course, to get our 235 range. And yeah, that's a great combo. Of course, like I said, strength is depleted, so I had to kind of even it out just a little bit with Intensify. I mean, you could, technically, you don't need this mod. You could add like Steel Fiber or whatever you want. But I just like to have the Intensify. It just feels like it feels like it fits there. So yeah, this is what I went for modding. Yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments of the modding. And overall, I think it works really well. It's fun to play with, and overall, for all the factions, it's fantastic. But yeah, all right, that is gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. So far, I'm loving Inaros. Overall, I would say he is a fantastic frame. He's very hard to get the hang of, though, so if you are new to the game, I'd recommend getting some other frames first before you get onto him, or do some research before you buy him, or build him. He's quite a difficult frame to get the hang of, but once you do, a lot of fun, and very fun to play in a late game, and to devour your enemies and suck up them nipples. Okay, alright, I'm done being weird. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments of this type of video. I guess not really more professional, just not as sloppy as a B.O.T.W. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. My name is M.C.I.K. I'll see you guys all for tomorrow's video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe today to join the Feline Pack if you guys are new to the channel, and I will see all of you sexy felines in the next video. Remember to stay sandy and stay sexy, and always remember that Inaros, he puts the sand in the root Sandstorm. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm done. Bye. I'd say about